How credible are the present charges against Michael Jackson? While Michael is most certainly guilty of creating the appearance of an impropriety, where his current accuser, Gavin Arvizo, is concerned, such wrong-minded choices about socializing with children and making sure everyone knows about it obviously don't make him a. As of this writing, the Santa Barbara District Attorney's evidence against Michael is sealed. Therefore, a firm opinion of his guilt or innocence is premature. Understandably, loyal friends and family members believe he is innocent based on little more than their personal held beliefs about him. However, critical minded people who have no emotional attachment to him have good reason for prudent skepticism. Still, the presumption of innocence is on Michael's side. That stated, the criminal case against him is very weak even at this early stage. In the year 2002 and into 2003, Gavin visited and members of his family had enjoyed being with Michael at Neverland Ranch on several occasions. A Hispanic boy with dark hair and dark brown eyes from East Los Angeles is a comedy uh, aficionado who aspires to a career in that arena. At the age of 10, he had been diagnosed with cancer, so he was quite ill. He had an 8-pound can- cancerous tumor on his left kidney. Doctors were forced to remove that kidney as well as his spleen. While he was sick, the youngster was asked by a comedy club owner in Los Angeles what would make him happy. He said he wanted to meet certain celebrities, one of them being Michael Jackson. Actually, Michael was third on the list, behind comedians Adam Sandler and Chris Tucker. Unfortunately, Michael has always been a sucker for young kids who want to meet him. After the comedy club owner made quick arrangements with Michael's people, one thing led to another, and before anyone knew what was happening, Gavin and both his parents, younger brother and older sister, were guests of Michael's at his Neverland Ranch. It's a bit startling, actually, when one considers how easy it is to gain entry into the King of Pop's castle. Just as in the case of Jordan Chandler and his family, Michael became engrossed in the personal, complicated, and troubled life of the youngster. He not only began paying the boy's medical expenses and provided transportation for Gavin to get to and from chemotherapy, he took him, his mother, Janet Ventura Arvizo, and two siblings, Devlin and Star Arvizo, into his confidence, into his secret world. He also extended his generosity to people they knew. For instance, he leased an apartment for the mother's boyfriend. He pushed and pushed until he was fully enveloped into their lives, exactly as he did with Jordan. Caught up in the security of Michael Jackson's cushy lifestyle, the family settled in. Compared to their lower middle class existence in East LA, Neverland was, well, Neverland. They had safety and security and the excitement of knowing a big star and trafficking in his exciting and privileged world. Janet encouraged the children to call Michael Daddy. It was fun with Michael, but the immediate and inappropriate familiarity suggested by the new moniker was disconcerting to observers in his camp. Didn't he have three children call him Daddy already? His own? It was too much, recalled someone close to the situation. It was Michael not remembering what happened with Jordan Chandler and his old man, and then letting these new kids and their mom into his world. No holds barred. Whatever they wanted, man, they got. Money, trips, gifts, toys, the whole Michael Jackson package. 360 degrees of everything, and way too much alone time with the one boy, Gavin. People in his camp were worried about it, but there have been a lot of kids and a lot of families between Jordan and his new family, and Michael had let them into his life too with no consequences. You can't reason with him, he takes his chances. The questions for me have always been, when does this guy have time for his career? How he even get to be the king of pop when he's so preoccupied with other people's lives? And how the hell does he keep track of all of these kids? When Gavin's health took a turn for the better, everyone was elated. Why? It was as if Michael was some kind of miracle worker. In just a few months, the youngster was born again. Of course, the fact that he was finally eating well and now able to afford the best medications in the world, thanks to Michael's largesse, didn't hurt. The story might have had a truly happy ending if everyone hadn't gone their separate ways. Gavin and his family might have exited Neverland, never to be seen again, with all being well that ended well. However, at the same time, Michael was involved in the making of the Martin Poop Smear documentary. Poop Smear had heard about the youngster and the transformation he had undergone as a result of the connection to Jackson and wanted to include his story in the documentary. Because it seemed like a good idea, he hoped people would finally understand his real relationship with children if they were to see the footage. Michael agreed to it. When the documentary was first broadcast in the UK and finally in the USA, Michael was seen holding hands with Gavin while giggling and discussing sleeping arrangements with them. He also made it clear that he saw nothing wrong with sharing his bed with children. After the documentary aired on February 3rd in the UK and 3 days later in the US, tongues began to wag about his odd interaction with Gavin Arvizo. It was then that Gavin's mother, Janet, complained publicly that Martin Poopsmear had allowed her son to appear on the show without her permission. Of course, Michael did not secure her permission either. However, at that time, the family was still friendly with Michael and did not point out his lapse in judgment. In truth, Michael Jackson isn't used to ask anyone permission for anything. He reasoned that considering all that he had done for Gavin and his family, Janet wouldn't mind seeing her son featured in his show. After she complained about it, it was thought that she would simply have to get over it. However, Gavin was then ridiculed in public. Other youngsters coming up to him and taunting him for being a quote unquote Michael Jackson's boyfriend. It was understandable that Janet was upset. However, Michael had other problems having to do with damage control. There have been outrage about the Martin Poop Smear documentary, and Michael charged Poop Smear with having taken statements and scenes out of context. That damn Martin Poop Smear show didn't work out as well as I hoped, he told one of his staff members. To set the record straight, Michael Jackson wanted to produce his own special and give his side of the story. He also wanted to press Gavin into service. Would he be interviewed for the new documentary and confirm that Michael's behavior toward him and had always been innocent? Yes, of course, he would, and this time with his mother's permission. Michael dispatched his so called videographer, Christian Robinson, to tape an interview with the family. It seems unlikely that Michael Jackson would have charged Robinson with such a task if he thought the Arvizo family would ever allege he was.